Space. It's a scary place. It's a dangerous place. Hell, I doubt it could even be called a place. It's more of a void into the unknown. None of us really know what's out there. For all we know, there is something out there, watching us and just taking the piss out of our ancient technology that can barely make it past the moon. Or maybe, there's a species of a superhuman race planning out their invasion on Earth in the year 2052. Or maybe, there's nothing. It's just space. Living up to its name. But like I said, it's a void into the unknown, and how exactly does one prepare for the unknown? How exactly do you prepare for that which you don't understand? You listen up and listen well, because these are 6 games that will fully prepare you for space exploration. 6 games for astronaut training. 6 games that will prepare your body for diving straight into the depths of this unknown void. Let's do this. Let's say you're traveling through the galaxy, and out of nowhere comes one big fat bastard of an asteroid belt and it's headed your way. And at the same time, you get attacked by none other than levitating polygons from the kind of 3D universe. A person unprepared for the occasion would never be able to deal with this situation. An inexperienced person wouldn't know how to stop these floating shapes of destruction, but you will rise to the occasion. You've prepared for this exact scenario because you know a thing or two about Starfox. One who has prepared for space exploration would know how to deal the damage to these pixelated polygons. One who hasn't prepared? Well, chances are the only time they've ever dealt with polygons was when they've had to calculate their interior angles or some shit. But that isn't gonna do shit, so thank you, education. No, you see, if there's one thing levitating polygons of destruction hate more than anything else, it's a smartass. So the unprepared are only gonna be pissing them off even more. Their chances of survival would be looking slim at this point, but that's where you step in to save the rest of the crew that obviously didn't prepare as well as you did. Because you have played Starfox. Because what you lack in mathematical skills, you make up for with abilities that have meaning to them, like being a master of fighting non-existent space creatures and using hyperbole. And especially the ability to carry out the business in times of danger. You know how to deal with these kind of 3D enemies. You pull a few tactical maneuvers, none other than textbook barrel rolls, stunning the enemy with amazement from the finesse of your piloting capabilities, and once you flank them, you go in for the kill. You beat the living hell out of them to the point where they downgrade to the 2nd dimension, and that is how you carry out the business. So, you survived an encounter with a hostile species. The same could help you survive against any kind of enemy forces surrounding your ship, and how exactly did you gain the skills to be the hero of the day? It wasn't any NASA training, no. Was it education? No. Was it Buzz Lightyear? No. Was it fucking Obama? No. Was it this picture of Kanye West enjoying a delicious ice cream? It's possible. He's a god. He's a god. It's just... But for the most part, it wasn't any of those. You survived because you followed my advice and prepared the legit way. By playing your fair share of Starfox. Not only must you be prepared to defend your ship against unexpected fleets of polygons, but you must also be prepared for a situation where no amount of education, no amount of Starfox training, and definitely no amount of ice cream eating Kanye will be enough to save you against a large enough enemy ambush. You must also be prepared for the unprepared, when your Starfox skills just aren't enough and your ship gets shot down onto some random planet. Let's compare these two situations, fighting polygons in space, and being shut down onto a random planet. In both of these situations, the motive is survival, but they're both completely different situations. You can't exactly shoot your way to survival if you've crash landed on a planet, no. If anything, trying to shoot your way to survival is the reason you've crashed. You've got to understand the technical and the natural methods of survival. It's not just kill everything until there's nothing left to kill you. And that's where your preparations once again step in. By mastering Pikmin. But hopefully you've landed on a planet that's pretty much Earth, or else you're actually gonna have to put some effort into this whole fucking survival thing. Good thing that you've landed in perfect living conditions with creatures that put their lives on the line so that you can save yours. This is probably the best case scenario for being shot down in the galaxy. I mean, you could have landed on the planet from Heart of Darkness, and instead of small lovable creatures that guide you to survival, you could have ended up with oiled up 500-pound men that shoot laser beams from their nipples. I mean, who knows what's out there? But training with Pikmin won't prepare you for oiled up 500-pound men. Go play WWE All-Stars for that one. But Pikmin prepares you for many survival aspects. Locating your fellow explorers, finding sustenance in unknown territories, cooperating with another species, and throwing them into battle under your leadership. For under my rule, when I lead you into battle, you shall not just be mere Pikmin, but you shall be Pikmin! And most importantly, if you've crash landed, you've got to know how to make repairs or else you're not going anywhere. Everyone knows a spaceship is going nowhere without a few of these Duracell batteries laying around. So, a crash landing on another planet? You'll be fine if you're just following the footsteps of Captain Olimar and the hundreds of Pikmin that are led into battle. And they shall lead you to victory. Now, I may sound like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but do I really? Like I don't even know most of the time. But on the topic of space training, I actually know nothing. I have no idea what exact training astronauts go through. The only knowledge I have on this is from that one Simpsons episode where Homer trains to go in space. But based on that alone, and along with pretty basic assumptions, I know this much. Astronauts go through intense training to show that they really are capable for interstellar travel. They go through all these tests to see if they've got what it takes. And what game would prepare one for testing? None other than Portal, of course. Testing that pushes you to the limits of your puzzle-solving, laser-enduring, and common-sense capabilities. Testing that makes you realize just how stupid you really are. Well, Portal is full of those. Especially the stupid and common-sense thing. In my case, at least. So some of these tests might raise questions about your common sense for taking so much time trying to figure out the simplest things. But once you finally conquer these challenges that took so much of your time, the feeling of being a conqueror makes you feel like you could take on the world, the galaxy, the universe. Or maybe the feeling of conquering a difficult challenge will make you feel like fucking idiot because it wasn't that difficult and the whole strategy of the puzzle was spelled out for the player, but it still goes over your head. Either way, dangerous testing, Portal, it's gonna train you to be in the mindset for the space training itself and all the intense training you're gonna have to go through. So really, it's space training. V, 6V, 3 Ws, V, multiple Vs, Wombo V. This game. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I can bullshit or exaggerate some kind of real life but not really real life situation or backstory based in this game. Like I probably could, but nah. But the thing is, if you're going into space, and especially if you were nervous about it, play the hell out of Wombo. The music in this game alone will hype you up for exploring the universe. It will make you want to go through all of these dangerous obstacles and all of these life-threatening scenarios just for these collectible trinkets. In V, your team is unexpectedly separated throughout the galaxy because of like, I don't know, some fucking teleporter malfunction or some shit. Probably shouldn't have mentioned that if you actually were nervous about going into space. Sorry. And as captain, you're responsible for finding them. This game shows you what it's like to be a captain of a squad of space explorers and the responsibility you'd have as king of the space cowboys once your friends go missing. And if you've collected some of these trinkets, you'd know that in space, sometimes it's always the hard way. There never is an easy way. When I say there's only the hard way, anybody who's played V is going to be thinking of this trinket. This so-called really fucking hard trinket to get. But this shit isn't hard though, no really, fucking come on. There's this block here. It's blocking you, because it's a block. It's so close, yet so far. Why can't you just fucking go over it? It's because blocks like this are what separate the Pikmin from the Pikmen. To you, this block may look like a few pixels, but through my eyes, all this block says is no casuals beyond this point. Because if you can't do things the hard way, then there is no doing it for you. Well, it's actually because you can't jump in the game. But what kind of space adventurer wouldn't be able to do things the hard way? I mean, choosing to become an astronaut as a career is gaining employment the hard way. So another game for your training would have to be V. Space exploration in the form of an 8-bit trippy flippy colorful acid trip. V hypes you up for exploring the galaxy, but what if I told you that you could play a game that actually is exploring the galaxy? No, the galaxies. Well, that game, if you somehow haven't guessed it, is Super Mario Galaxy. Do I even need to explain myself in this one? It's a game, and one hell of a game at that, where you explore dozens of planets and multiple galaxies. What more space training do you want? What more of an explanation would you want? You want a fucking physics lesson on how this game even functions? And why it's a 100% accurate representation of science? 'Cause it's true. Astro Science Man told me. Super Mario Galaxy! Universe exploration in the form of a finely made platformer. So what more space training would you want? It doesn't matter what space training you'd want, because there's one final piece of space training that you need. Let's go back a bit. Back to the situation where you've crash landed on a planet. Let's say you're definitely not in the best case scenario. You're not on a planet anything close to Earth, far from it. In fact, you might even go far enough to say you're fucked. Okay, so it's not quite as worse as the planet of bodybuilding nipple beams, but it's still a dangerous place to be, because potentially, you could crash land in a very dangerous place. Alone, with nowhere to run except straight forward, head on into the danger. A dangerous planet similar to, I don't know, Talon 4, I guess? But as mysterious as a planet like this is to you, something about it is pretty familiar, because your final preparations have tailored you for the dark side of the universe. One final game that's prepared you to fend off the floppy shaft of space that will try and screw you over, because your final preparations was Metroid Prime. Experiencing the hell that could be waiting for you in the universe from a first-person perspective. That's what makes this game the whole package for preparing you for a life-threatening space mission. There's 1001 reasons that would explain why Metroid Prime and the Metroid series as a whole would be perfect for space training. But I think I can sum it up in one main reason, because if you put it this way, this game prepares you to take down hordes of Metroids. Metroids! And you know their every weakness. So if you can stop these things that suck the life out of you with the strength of the Hammer of Thor, if you can stop the direct source of nightmare fuel itself, then you're prepared to take on anything the universe throws at you, or tries to latch onto your face with. So in reality, these so-called boss fights are no different than, I don't know, giving Sheldon a spinebuster in the back alley behind the boys' dorm. The prefects can't save you now, Sheldon. Okay, so there's more to fighting bosses than doing wrestling moves on someone way smaller than you, for the most part. But there isn't much more.